Hello everyone, we're going to be doing some potato soup today. You're going to need milk, garlic powder, Italian seasoning, butter, pepper, salt, chicken broth, minced garlic, an onion, flour, and bacon. And then you are going to have to cut up your potatoes to about 1-inch size or less. I already put mine in some cold water and got them all prepped and washed. You're also going to need a Dutch oven for this. The first step, we are going to be putting bacon in our Dutch oven. I am going to be using scissors to cut them up nice and tiny. Make sure to wash your scissors after this step immediately. Do not let them sit in your sink. This is just a faster process, so you don't have to use a knife. Once you get it cut up, you're going to want to stir it and make it nice and even on the bottom. And while that is cooking, we are going to start prepping our onion. We are going to be doing the dice method once again. We are going to cut down about 7 to 6 lines, and then we are going to have that about a 1/2 inch away from the root. And then once you get those lines cut, we're going to turn it 90 degrees and then cut them down again to make a checkerboard style. Make sure not to cut the onion all the way down. You want everything connected. I kind of messed up on that. And then you're going to turn it sideways and you're going to cut it straight down, and then you have your little diced onions. You are going to want the full thing as well, so make sure you get as much as you can off it. We're then going to give our bacon a stir. The brown stuff on the bottom is exactly what we need. You want to leave that. This is it a little more cooked. Once it reaches the stage that you like, you are then going to take it out of the Dutch oven. Drain as much of the grease as you can. The spoon that I am using has holes on the bottom, so it kind of helped out a little more. But you're going to want to leave as much as you can in the Dutch oven itself. Once it's all cleared out, we are going to now add our butter in. It calls for about 3 tablespoons. I was just eyeing it at this point. My phone also almost broke because of all the steam coming up towards it. We're then going to throw our onion in after the butter. You're then going to give it a stir. You are going to want to try to get as much of the brown bits on the bottom of the Dutch oven as you can off of it. That is where the flavor comes in at, and you want that all nice and mixed in together. This is what it looks like a little bit more up close. As you can see, the brown bits are starting to come off and into the mixture. We're then going to pour our minced garlic in. Just use as much as you want. This is a pour with your heart situation. Then we are going to give that a stir, and we're going to let it get fragrant for about 30 seconds. Once you can start smelling the garlic, we are then going to start adding in our flour. It called for about 3 tablespoons of flour. I kind of was just eyeing it. We're almost going to make the base of a roux. You want it to get nice and thick, and you want everything to be mixed in together and a little bit clumpy. The flour mixture helps with making the soup nice and smooth, and it also helps for keeping everything together and not having anything separate on its own. You're just going to want to stir that until everything is nice and combined. We are then going to want to add in our potatoes. I drained them and made sure they were nice and clean. We are then going to pour in about 3 cups of chicken broth. And then about 1.5 cups of milk to make it nice and creamy. Then you're going to mix everything together, and then we're going to add our seasoning. I added in a bunch of pepper. A little bit of salt. There's already salt within the bacon and butter, so I didn't want to add too much. Garlic powder, because you can never have enough garlic. And just a little bit of Italian seasoning. We're then going to stir everything so it's nice and combined. Once everything is stirred, you're going to want to have it to a boil. I did it for about 20 minutes. Now, I don't have an immersion blender, but if you do, this would work a lot better. But since I didn't, I used a potato masher. You're going to want to get all the big potato chunks out and make it as smooth as possible. This is the texture mine ended up being. It was a little bit chunkier than I wanted, but it was still falling off the spoon. I then added in some cheese. I wanted to do a kind of baked potato soup situation. Here's it plated up. I feel like it became very nice and smooth once it actually simmered for a little bit. I used about probably 6 to 8 potatoes that were about medium sized, and I feel like it came out fantastic. Once you have it in your bowl, you can then start adding your toppings. I decided to add some more of that cheese I put into the mixture itself. And then you top with the bacon that we cooked in the beginning, and then you're done.